today we found a unicorn. A vehicle inspired by late 50s, early 60s European vintage racing, but it's not something you've ever seen before. It is coach-built, one of one, and it's called the Daedalus. Chris, I can't even believe I'm finally seeing your car.
Nicole.
Wow. I just have to, are you kidding me?
I'm retired.
Hold on, I have to every inch of this car you built.
Every piece. Yeah.
There's not a flat piece on it. Is there?
No?
I'm rarely speechless. And nobody's ever seen this car.
Yeah, not very many people.
This is incredible. First of all, what is it?
It's my friend Roger started giving me vintage race magazines in the 90s. And the cars were just beautiful. I'd never been a car guy before that. So I didn't have any history with them. And when I started seeing pictures of the Maseratis and the Ferraris and the Jaguars, it was like, wow, those are just stunning, stunning cars. So I thought, well, let's build one, because how hard could it be?
Were you a fabricator coming into this? Tell me about how you built this car.
I started in building race cars, and I'd never built a street car before. And when I retired, I knew I was going to need a project. So I bought a video and an English wheel.
And so you'd never done it before?
No, this is my first shot.
Wow. You were inspired by the old European race cars. I mean, it looks like an Aston Martin, sort of, but it's not, or?
Aston Martin DBR1 was
Right.
a car that I really admired.
Right.
And then the Ferrari 250s of the period, and the Jaguar C and D types.
Right.
Yeah. And so my design goal, because it was primarily not a building project, but a design project, was to capture all those elements in one vehicle with a cohesive design.
Without actually copying anything.
Don't want to copy, don't want to clone,
Right.
wanted something completely original. I had to design all my own suspension. I wanted to make sure that the vehicle dynamics were good, so motor placement was important to get the weight in the right places. Mm-hmm. So once I had it all planned out, the actual construction of the car only took 10 years.
Only took 10 years.
Yeah.
Did you sketch it on paper? Like, where did you start?
The car started with the cylinder head. Aluminum cross-flow Fisher, very rare head. They made 25 of them.
The Fisher would have been what everybody wanted.
That was the
back
Big Daddy.
then.
Yeah. That determined the motor size, the height, the length, and then I plotted that into a chassis design and then drew the body around that. I'm a paper and pencil guy. I'm not a
Okay.
computer guy.
Right.
So I did 8th scale renderings of
Okay.
it. And then I built a little clay model. Then I built a little model of the chassis out of balsa wood, and then transfer that to a full-scale chassis design, and then start building.
So you built a buck in the garage, which is a full-scale wooden skeleton?
Yeah, it's
or-
a skeleton, basically. It's egg crating, intersecting panels that define the shape of the body. And then you take your aluminum and roll it on the English wheel until you get the shape that you want, and then it fits over the buck. And you do that in sections, and when you have enough sections together, then you weld the pieces together.
Just sounds easy, like no big deal.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay, so if you think of metal, you can bend metal in one plane. To make curves, you want to bend it in two planes simultaneously.
Right. Okay.
Okay, we've hit it with the hammer, and you can see that it's bent the aluminum this way, and it's bent the aluminum this way. That's a compound curve.
Okay.
Okay, now what we want to do is get the same thing in aluminum going slower, more controlled.
Okay.
Now I've got a fairly high crown wheel in there, so it should be moving the metal
Right. so
pretty
we should be
quickly
seeing
for
it.
your demo
Oh, I
purposes.
see it. Yep. It's getting a curve in it.
Yeah, we'll back off the tension a little bit because you're a girl.
Excuse me. Crank that up. There's a lot of patience. And this thing could get away from you. You're like, no, it's going in the wrong direction. See how I'm losing it now?
Yeah.
Now how do you pull it back? Look, I've lost it. Darn it.
It's geometry. You lose.
I did lose. Okay, now I have mad respect for your end result. That is incredible. This show is a ton of hours to produce, and we could use your support. Go to patreon.com/Nicole Johnson's Detour or check out our merchandise, NicoleJohnson'sDetour.com. Tell me about your engine and why you chose this. It's a GMC inline six 302.
Inline 6? Yeah.
It's not, even you could have picked an LS platform.
I wanted something that was from the period.
Okay.
And the big Jimmy motors were popular motors back then.
Okay.
And the Aston Martins had inline 6s, and the Jags had inline 6s, so it seemed a really natural choice for me. And I wanted something different and kind of rare,
Okay.
and it fit the bill. The crossflow head adds a lot of horsepower to it, so it hasn't been on a dyno, but I'm guessing with the things I have in the motor, it's probably around 300 horsepower,
Okay.
which doesn't sound like a lot, but the car only weighs 2,680 pounds.
But did that original Fisher, it didn't work for you?
Oh
didn't
my
it?
God, the head was a disaster.
It was just used and tired, or what happened?
It had been down the salt flats too many times.
Right.
And so the aluminum got soft. And
That's
when
a bummer because it was
well,
super
I
rare.
built the whole car around that cylinder head, and
Right.
then I found out the cylinder head was duff. I couldn't keep the water out of the oil, and the oil out of the water, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do about this? And I spent 2 years sourcing another cylinder head. And so the head on it now is an Arias Howard head.
Also very rare.
They made about 45 of those.
Let's talk about all of your uprights and your suspension. Tell me about what you have.
Well, I wanted to have something that I could buy bearings for and buy pieces for. So I selected a C4 Corvette,
Okay.
and I used the outboard knuckles at both ends.
Okay.
And then I designed all the suspension linkage in between using my race car experience. So the brakes, they don't make a big brake package for 16-inch wheels.
Oh yeah,
so
everybody's running a bigger.
They're
wheel,
on
aren't they?
running 17s and 18s.
Right.
So I designed up my own brake package. And I had custom hats built, floating rotors, used Wilwood calipers, but had to build my own mounts. And it works really well. I'm very happy.
Okay.
So
And what about your manifold? You have some 3 side draft Weber carbs.
yeah,
Clearly, you're not just running down to AutoZone for that.
you got to build it.
manifold.
You got to build it all.
You build it all.
Yeah.
Had you done that before when you were racing? or anything?
Manifolds?
Yeah.
No.
And actually, the side draft fits perfectly, underneath there.
Well, the head is configured a little differently, so I had to remake manifolds from the Fisher head. The Fisher head manifolds wouldn't fit. And then it was a matter of dropping them down and getting to fit under the hood that I'd already built. So I make the motor fit the body at that point.
Which was completely opposite of when you started. You were trying to make the body fit the motor,
Fit
and
the
now
motor.
you had a reverse problem
Oh, yeah, totally
when
sucked.
that didn't work for you. Okay. Your headers
Yeah.
all collect on this side. Beautiful to have all of this exposed.
Well, that was one of the design features of the car. I wanted to have the headers inset into the car so I didn't burn myself.
Yeah, and you have these look Aston Martin, these side
Oh,
vents.
thank you for noticing
They're
that.
beautiful.
Because they are. Those are Aston Martin inspired vents and spears.
Everything is familiar, but not exactly what you've seen before. It
Yeah.
is just a slightly different twist on it. It's really beautiful. So tell me about your steering. What did you choose for?
I used a custom power steering rack.
Okay.
And they customed the servo for me to get the weight of the steering right,
Okay.
because it was important to me that the car drive like a car.
Okay.
I use a C&R aluminum radiator. The whole front group on the motor, the water pump, the alternator, the power steering pump, that's all custom. That's all special stuff.
Right. You have an MSD.
Yeah, but I found out that I could take a Chevrolet 6-cylinder distributor and throw it on the lathe and do some machining on it and get it to fit.
Let's talk about your windshield. You had to have sourced this from something because this is
Yeah.
like fancy and curved and beautiful. Tell me about what you did here.
Very early in the design process, you have to figure out what pieces you can build and what pieces you have to buy. And I don't have the capacity to either afford to have a custom windshield made or develop a pattern for one. So I sourced a windshield from a Porsche Speedster.
You have a 16-inch wire wheel.
They're true spoke 16 by 8s for a Corvette Center. Wire wheels for the period were like the bomb.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they put on all the race cars. They were lighter than the steel disc wheels for the street. You know, mag wheels hadn't really gotten popular then.
What about your hinges on your trunk? Did you source these? Did you make them?
So the actual push buttons are commercially available, but I needed a way to lift them, and I wanted to tie into the design elements of the car, and so I built the escutcheon plates for it, and then machined up the lifting mechanism.
Oh, wow. It's just simple and clean. What axles? These are all out of the Corvette?
Well, I used the Corvette center section and the Corvette outers, and then built all my own linkages.
In order for it to track properly and handle right, you have to know what you're doing.
It took me 2 cuts to get the bump steer in the back to 0. Built the sway bar, built all the links. I got the roll bars hidden underneath the fairings.
Of course. Gives you some structure there.
Yeah.
And then this is your storage? You have an actual trunk?
I have an actual trunk.
Let's see it.
When I was doing the design in the car, my mom was alive. She's passed since. And she said, I really don't care what you build, but there's got to be room for 4 bags of groceries.
And you could.
She wanted me to go to the grocery store with her.
You could. And
yeah. And so that's an exactly 4 bag of grocery trunk. I made all the hinges on the car. I made for the trunk and for the cowl section, the door hinges. Door hinges, absolute nightmare to build and engineer so that doors open and close over curved surfaces.
Tell me about how you built your chassis.
Tube frame chassis, fully triangulated. They call it a space frame. You size the pieces down and use more of them. And it achieves its strength not from mass, it achieves its strength from geometry.
Ooh, I feel so fancy. Look at this car. Ooh. Okay. Hop in. Do you sit passenger much?
Oh, never have.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Put your seatbelt here. Wow.
The only other person to drive the car was the light and brake inspection guy.
Well, I just asked your wife, and she was like, I can't believe you're going to try and drive it.
Yeah.
Which makes me terrified. I'm serious. Look at this car. What is this? This is an art piece.
Yeah, it is.
Tell me about this. I noticed it's on the hood as well.
Yeah.
You've got this emblem. Tell me why you chose the name Daedalus. What does that mean?
I'm a Greek mythology geek.
Okay.
And Daedalus was a builder. And he and his son were exiled on an island by King Minos. And Daedalus built wings for himself and his son, Icarus. Everybody remembers Icarus because he used the wings, got too close to the sun, the wax melted, and he crashed and burned. But Daedalus, the crafty old man, made it to shore and had many further adventures. So I figured I'd name it after the crafty old man instead of the stupid kid.
That's smart.
I found an artist locally. Her name is Mary Lee Ray, and she does cloisonne. She takes 24 karat gold and draws them into these really fine ribbons, and then she stands the ribbon on end so they're sitting with their edge down.
Tell me about what happened to this car in 2017.
I was driving to a concourse in Danville, and it was 6:30 in the morning, and I was on the freeway in San Jose, and I got rear-ended by a hit-and-run driver. We were the only 2 cars on the road, and he hit me, and then spun me down the freeway and put the front of the car into the concrete center divide, and broke it pretty bad.
You were fine?
I was fine. It tore the back of the car off, and crushed the whole fuel section in, and then crushed that corner, but the damage telegraphed across the car. So there was no panel that was left straight. Everything that was supposed to collapse, collapsed. Everything that was supposed to crush, crushed. And I walked away easily.
And you had worked on it for a dozen years at this point.
Yeah. And I just nutted up and took it apart and started rebuilding it. And I used it as an opportunity to make everything better. I refined the body lines, tuned up the color a little bit, all new interior, cleaned up some of the mechanical systems. I thought I would have to remake all the bucks, and it turns out I didn't. What I ended up doing was freeform building because I have more experience now.
Who did your leather work? So you redid this, right?
All new interior, yeah. And they did a spectacular job.
It's super comfortable. It's very luxurious. and yet simple. It's not anything more than the car needs. It's not like this bright, obnoxious yellow or red.
Oh,
That would totally change the whole vibe of the car.
no, that's not me.
No.
No, it's just quietly classy. How's
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
I've never been accused of being that.
I can imagine why.
What transmission are you running, and what's your shift patterns? Is it just a normal H?
Yeah, it's a Tremec 5-speed.
Okay.
So it's a straight 4 with fifth is over and up, and then reverse is over and back.
Okay. Tilton pedals. You
Tilton
have
pedals,
an
yeah.
adjustable bias for your brakes, I'm
Yep.
guessing. Okay. It's beautiful. And then your gauges. I love how you subtly tilted them.
Oh, you see
It's
that-
for the driver's perspective.
That was the result of the wreck. Because I originally put them in a flat panel,
Right.
and every time I wanted to read the gauges, I'd
You
be
had
doing
take your eye
this.
off the road
Yeah,
too
I'd
much
be
and
leaning
lean.
over to read them. So
Oh, from this vantage point, it is
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. So I upped everything.
So you have only had a brake guy drive this?
Yeah,
Or-
to get it licensed, I had to have a light and brake inspection,
Wow.
and he drove it around Santa Cruz. He said, "Wow, this car really gets a lot of attention, doesn't it?"
This is incredible. In doing the math, 17 years of starting and building this car.
Yeah, I guess give or take.
Kind of.
I kind of lost track.
I'm kind of the first. I feel really honored. Let's go drive this car.
Here you are.
Hey, cruising.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at us go. This is great. Look at our beautiful day.
Hey, why don't you cog fifth?
What?
Why don't you cog fifth?
Okay,
There you go.
got it.
Now we're cruising.
Now we're cruising. So when you repainted it and you were choosing your paint color, going with the darker green, you kept adding black.
Yeah,
Because in certain lights, it does look totally black.
yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, I can feel the coastal air. It just got
Yeah.
cool right there. Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Awesome. And it drives really straight. Look at that.
Thank you.
You do your own alignment?
Yeah.
Look at that. Unbelievable. 65. And it never changed any position. That's great. Good job. It's very comfortable. The diameter of this wheel feels really good too. Like the ratio, where I'm sitting feels really comfortable.
Yeah.
The windshield is just enough to keep the hair.
Well, I get to ride shotgun maybe 3 or 4 times a year in any vehicle.
In any vehicle.
In any vehicle. And I feel very comfortable with you.
And you still
Good.
don't know what this actually looks like going down the road because you've never watched it go down
No,
the road.
no, I got no clue.
That's crazy. So, why do you want to sell it?
I'm a builder, not a collector. And I want to build the next one.
Good answer.
Yeah.
You have to have space and funds to do that, I guess. Build one at a time.
It's a matter of square footage.
Yeah. It doesn't take much to get me totally excited.
I've noticed that. I don't think I've ever enjoyed my car this much.
Really?
Because I'm usually worried about something. And now I'm not worried.
You're not worried. That's
Yeah.
awesome. This area, I've just never spent time up here before. You know, it's just, wow. You can see why this is a destination for so
It's
many
a beautiful
people.
piece of coast.
Oh, it's stunning. Look at this! Look at the day we're having! Oh my gosh! I can't just shut up and enjoy it. I have to talk about it.
Well, that's your job, isn't it?
I guess. I guess. I'm a little bit of a spaz. And gosh, you mix all this beautiful scenery with an amazing hand-built car. My job stinks, Chris. Wow.
I just
when
wish
you-
the cameras could be pointing that way.
Just when you think you've seen it.
And look at that down
Oh.
I'm going to go look at the ocean and enjoy the
What?
sea air for a minute.
It's a one-of-one coach-built car called the Daedalus. All aluminum body. Nice. Wow. Your gears are very tight.
Yeah.
I was watching the RPMs. I was shifting at 5,
Yeah.
waiting for it to get to that spot. But yeah, your gears are definitely tight. Look at this bridge.
I think this is Bixby
Oh
Creek.
my gosh. Wow. I've never been here. This is amazing. Oh. It's distracting driving this car because I'm staring at the beautiful fenders and louvers
There's a lot of shape going
and
on.
road and beach. My brain is on overload right now. Look at that.
Yeah.
What kind of torque does this inline 6 put out?
You know what? I don't have any numbers. I can tell you the rods are about 7.5 inches long. They were originally built as truck engines, so when they were being used in trucks, they were rev limited to about 2,200 RPM because the stroke was so long.
Okay.
And that the pistons were cast iron, so they were super heavy, which meant the cranks had to be super heavy. So the hot rodders put in good rods, they put in aluminum pistons,
Right.
and they were able to bump the rev range up.
That makes
So
sense.
I try to keep this, under 5K.
Uh-huh.
The way I've got it geared, top speed is about 120 at
see.
at
Yeah.
5,000 RPM.
Sure. Now, if you were going for speed, it'd be a totally different setup.
Oh, I change the
Yeah.
rear end ratio.
Right. Look at this. Oh my gosh. I am in my happy place. This car, this experience is like seriously once in a lifetime. Unbelievable.
Well, it doesn't have to be. You can come back.
I probably need to bring a very big check. At some point, you're gonna sell this car. I'm glad I got to capture the story and the experience before you get rid of it. I hope the next owner has as much fun with this. This is just so unique. Wow, look at these freaking tall trees.
The redwoods.
Unbelievable. It's amazing how the scenery just changed. We're like in a forest on the beach.
Well, you notice we're a little bit inland now. You can tell because it got warmer.
Yeah, I did actually. How you feel?
Okay, right here. So you're spot.
So much fun. Well, Chris, I had a fun time. What you've created here is something really unique, and I really appreciate that you let me drive it.
Oh, thank you very much.
I hope you had a good time too.
It's the most fun I've had in years.
Wonderful. Such a neat experience. You guys let me know what you guys think of the Daedalus. I want to know. And we will catch you guys next time.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is literally imbrushable. Imbrushable. This is
Unbrushable.
All right, we gotta go.
I found out building a streetcar is like orders of...
Hold on, do you guys see this fly? You see the fly? There's a car? There's a cart. You guys are gonna judge me for this?
We're not going to judge you.
Like, whether or not I pick my nose? Sorry, but we have literally been laughing for 6 hours straight. Goodbye.